The government of Venezuela confirmed that there are no members of the extinct Tren de Aragua criminal organization among the 238 migrants deported from the United States to El Salvador. The Sudanese Armed Forces confirmed Friday the capture of the presidential palace in Khartoum from paramilitary rapid support forces. And Tel Aviv Defense Minister Israel Katz threatened the annexation of Gazan territories pending the release of hostages in a move that exposes the genocidal intentions of the Zionist regime. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. The government of Venezuela confirmed that there are no members of the extinct Tren de Aragua criminal organization among the 238 migrants deported from the United States to El Salvador. The Minister of Interior Relations, Justice and Peace of Venezuela, Diosdado Cabello, informed so during the program Sin Truco ni Mañas. Cabello unveiled that national security forces compare an unofficial list of the names of the deported with an organizational chart relating members of the extinct Tren de Aragua group and similar criminal organizations. Furthermore, the minister assured that the United States is using the neutralized criminal organization to stigmatize Venezuelan migrants. In this context, Cabello also criticized the actions of Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele, describing him as a tool of imperialism.
Here we have not received anyone from the Aragua train. They kept saying they are from the Aragua train. It is not true. It is not true, and I must say it responsibly. Yesterday a list of Venezuelans that in theory are in El Salvador came out. We also have, because we have been doing that work, we have been updating it. We have the organization chart of the criminal groups, of what is left of them, because we have hit them hard right and left.
A journalistic investigation revealed contradictions in statements made by the government of El Salvador regarding deported Venezuelan migrants. The research unveiled that at least one of every kidnapped Venezuelans are irregular migrants and not people linked to the extinct band Tren de Aragua, as both the Salvadoran and U.S. president have claimed. The source further explained that the security cabinet of the Salvadoran government believes that there are some 50 innocent people among the over 230 kidnapped Venezuelans. In addition, the study assured that the Bukele administration supposedly promised to review each case of the foreign nationals and to grant an alleged differentiated treatment. And according to U.S. intelligence reports, Donald Trump's government has been unable to prove any link between the criminal organization Tren de Aragua and the Venezuelan authorities. A recent investigation published by national media outlet confirms that the findings of federal agencies contradict the president's claims, which were instrumental in the invocation of the Alien Enemies Act from war crimes. In this regard, a document shared by the intelligence services dated February 26, 2025, concludes that the organization Tren de Aragua is not controlled by the government of Nicolás Maduro. And in Panama, government authorities repressed teachers who were demonstrating against the Social Security Fund reform. Local police attacked teachers and workers from other unions who were distributing flyers in the area of Cuatro Altos in the province of Colón. During the repression, officials of the crowd control unit detained union leader Alberto Diaz, who was with members of the Union Movement of Educators of the Republic of Panama and the Single National Union of Construction Industry Workers and Similar Workers.
In the face of the legitimate right we have to protest, to fight, to mobilize, to march, our fellow educators of Cologne, and all the organizations that came to the call of a march to be held in Cologne are being repressed by this government, that bets again as in 2010 on repression in Boca del Toro, because that is its perverse plan of wanting to impose a disastrous law for the entire population, for all workers.
We urge the Panamanian people to join the fight against the dictatorial regime of petty dictator Mulino because he cannot do whatever he wants in the country. The country does not belong to him.
The Guatemalan Migration Institute and the Forensic Anthropology Foundation signed a cooperation agreement focused on the search and identification of missing Guatemalan migrants. The agreement aims to implement joint actions that protect human rights and guarantee a dignified treatment for migrants and their families. It would include the creation of an accurate database that records relevant information on missing persons, with a real-time information system with international institutions and direct contact with relatives. According to data provided by migration authorities, so far in 2025, 33 people have been reported missing, 15 have been found, and 18 are still being sought after. The Brazilian Federal Police has blamed the social network X for the shortcomings in the blocking of profiles ordered by the Minister of the Federal Supreme Court. In a report to the judge, the police stressed that the platform not only allowed the live broadcast from blocked sites, but also facilitated the dissemination of links that contributed to the financing of communicators loyal to former President Jair Bolsonaro and far-right groups. In response to the report, the authorities have asked the companies Meta and X to provide data and content related to the publications of blogger Alan dos Santos. This situation has sparked a debate about the responsibility of digital platforms in moderating content and complying with court orders in Brazil. And in Chile, No More AFP and other social movements urge citizens to picket on March 30th against the pension reform. The organization's name, No More AFP, stands for No More Private Pension Fund Managers. This one and other social movements will be rallying against the lower wages decreed by the pensions reform. They further denounce citizens will be giving their money to the state and companies. Therefore, they summon people to take to the streets to protest against the pensions reform that only strengthened the private pension fund managers instead of eradicating them. In this regard, experts ensure that the reform is just a step forward in a short term, as it does not sort out the structural crisis of the pension system. And Argentina closed Thursday with $26.7 billion in reserves, the lowest figure since September 2024, having an impact on the dollar exchange rate in the black market. After having passed the Milei's decree for a new indebtedness with the International Monetary Fund, the dollar was worth 1,300 pesos in the illegal market. Experts estimated that the dollar exchange rate in the black market had triggered the reversion of the upward trend somehow. However, they pointed out that this market couldn't help inflation lately. In this context, Economy Minister Luis Caputo labeled such inflation as unexpected volatility. Nonetheless, analysts wonder how much more the central bank could uphold without the entry of fresh funds. We have a first short break coming up. Remember, you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. On Thursday, the representative of the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, Eric Wolliby, denounced that media professionals in Haiti are being systematically targeted by criminal groups. The official also praised the courage of the journalists who continue to work despite the deplorable conditions in the country. For this reason, UNESCO has established several mental health support programs for journalists as violence in the country is rapidly increasing. In December, 2 journalists were killed in a shooting in the country's capital, Port-au-Prince, while they were at the opening ceremony of a hospital. In other news, the Sudanese Armed Forces confirmed Friday the capture of the last stronghold held by the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces in Khartoum, capital where the civil war started 2 years ago. The army regained control of the Republican Palace and ministry buildings on the 21st day of Ramadan. These advances pose symbolic triumph of the troops commanded by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. The information minister, Khaled al-Aisse, further posted on X that the flag had been raised on the palace. Likewise, the army spokesperson Nabil Abdallah informed that they had seized large quantities of equipment and weapons. He made sure they were paving their way to one everlasting victory. The Republican fortress had been in the hands of paramilitary RSF for almost 2 years. The British government has issued a travel alert for its citizens wishing to travel to the United States, warning them of a possible arrest or detention. The risk of deportation is the main concern following the U.S. government's reform of immigration policy. The British Home Office has advised travelers to make sure they have all the right documents in order when they travel to avoid being subjected to procedures that sometimes border on abuse. These announcements has caused concern for British travelers as airport searches in the United States have become more rigorous and at times invasive and violent. International Olympic Committee first female president Christy Coventry faces significant challenges, including protecting women's sports. In statements to the press, Coventry assured she is ready to deal with difficult men in high positions, such as U.S. President Donald Trump, the weaponization of sport, or the challenges of steering the IOC through one uncertain decade. She also mentioned her intentions to preserve solidarity among athletes and ensuring every one of them has the possibility to attend the Olympic Games in a safe way. In this context, outgoing IOC President Thomas Bach assured that choosing Coventry was a very important signal to prove the IOC is a truly global and inclusive organization.
Diversity and gender equality is one of these pieces of the puzzle. But I think it was a very important signal yesterday to demonstrate that we are a truly global organization. And I was I still am, the 9th president of the IOC, and 8 of them have been from Europe, and 1 from United States of America. And this is not really reflecting the reality of a global organization like the IOC with the 206 national Olympic committees on all 5 continents. And therefore this election is more than anything else this commitment to globalization and to be a global organization.
It's a really powerful signal. It's a signal that we're truly global and that we have evolved into an organization that is truly open to diversity. And we're going to continue walking that road in the next 8 years.
We now have our second short break coming up. Before we invite you to visit our Facebook page at teleSUR English, where you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage, and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. On Friday, Tel Aviv's Defense Minister Israel Katz threatened the annexation of Gaza territories pending the release of hostages in a move that exposes the genocidal intentions of the Zionist regime. Without specifying which territories he was referring to, Katz assured that he has given orders to the occupying troops to expand security zones around Gaza with the excuse of protecting Israeli communities and trying to pressure the resistance to release hostages. Specifically, CAT threatened to use all military and civilian pressure, including evacuation of the Gaza population south and implementing U.S. President Trump's voluntary migration plan for Gaza residents. The move happens amid social pressure from relatives regarding the government's hand of the captives' release. And Israeli occupation forces mounted incursions into 3 key zones of the Gaza Strip as part of their ethnic cleansing plan to wipe Palestinians off the map. The occupation army invaded not only the Shabura refugee camp in Rafah, but also northeastern Beit Lahaya and other nearby towns, including Gaza. Zionist forces harnessed artillery shellings and heavy gunfires to seize those Palestinian areas. The advance of the Israeli offensive on the enclave brought about both an unprecedented humanitarian crisis and thousands of displaced in their attempt to roll with the punches.
There was a lot of shelling around us, and there were people killed. The children were extremely terrified, so we left in a hurry without a clear destination.
Fear gripped us before we left our homes. And even here in this camp, there's still fear. We were displaced from Beit Hanoun and have moved between displacement sites more than 10 times.
In this context, as Israel's military launches a renewed ground invasion of southern Gaza's Rafah, UN agencies warn of the worsening humanitarian crisis in the Strip. In this regard, UNICEF reported at least 200 children have been killed during the past week alone, while UN's Relief Agency for Palestinian Refugees warned that progress made during ceasefire is being reversed. Palestinians are now facing huge reductions in distribution of aid due to the Zionist blockade. Furthermore, news report alert that less than half of Palestinian Red Crescent emergency vehicles are out of operation due to the fuel shortages. Israel's bombardment of the Gaza Strip has also disseminated infrastructures and waste management systems. In other news, the president of Tunisia, Kais Saied, removed Prime Minister Kamal Madouri from office after holding the post for 7 months. In this regard, an official statement informed that the Minister of Equipment, Sarah Safrani Senri, will be the new Prime Minister and the second woman to occupy this position in the government. The authority did not give more details of the dismissal of Madouri, but specified in the statement the need for Safrani to meet the expectations of the Tunisian people. Technocrat Kamal Madouri was appointed Tunisian Prime Minister in August 2024 during a major governmental reshuffle in the country. In Ecuador, at least 300,000 people have been affected by an oil spill in the province of Esmeraldas. The crude oil has polluted the river Esmeraldas, which supplies the cantons of Rio Verde, Atacames, and Esmeraldas with water to make it drinkable. The families protested to denounce the lack of this vital liquid. The spill was caused by the rupture of a section of the Trans-Ecuadorian pipeline system. From the city, crude oil is exported, which crosses the north of Ecuador through pipelines that start in the Amazon. And the UN warned on Thursday that the disappearance of glaciers is accelerating due to global warming. Authorities affirmed that glaciers will not be able to reach the end of the 21st century in areas of the European and American continents, since their disappearance is becoming faster and faster. Experts say that since 1975, the glaciers have lost a large mass of ice, calculating some 9 million tons, equivalent to a block the size of Germany. The UN warned that the situation threatens an avalanche of consequences for economies, ecosystems, and populations. In 2024 alone, more than 450,000 tons of glaciers were melted. Like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. Also join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. With teleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thanks for watching.